Thank you so much for speaking with me today about Berlin. So just jumping right in, kind of how did you choose your role and what really drew you to the script of the film?
Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
Which city, sorry, which country are
The
you talking to me
US.
from? The US. So, did you see it at LA or was it a screener sent to you?
It was a screener.
Okay. Um, the metrics for me choosing a role haven't changed in 30 years. It's the story. First of all, would I like to watch a film like this?
Okay.
Um, the role, do I have anything to do in it? Even if I'm not playing the lead, and I've only ever played the lead all my life till about 2013, 14. And even Dil Dhadakne Do, which I did at the time, if you take my role out of the film will collapse. Not because I'm so great in it, but because the character, uh, the entire arc of Priyanka's dilemma and the entire what the filmmakers want to say is predicated on that unhappy marriage.
Yeah.
So the character, the role, the story, the co-actors, desperately important. I can't act alone. Nobody can play tennis alone. And the worse the co-actor, the worse your tennis. You know, you're dragged down to that level. And finally, the director. But that's one thing that I have made many allowances for in my career. I've worked with 14 first-time directors. So there's a risk that you take. But I find that if it's written well, and if it's written well and the actors are good, um, the chances of being a good film are pretty decent.
Okay.
The only thing
So
I'll add, sorry, the only thing I'll add to this list of prerequisites for me to say yes to a film is in the last 15 years, I've begun to only work with good human beings. My soul can't take working with morally compromised people. It's just, that's not what I came in here for. I love this too much to screw it up with, with that kind of a highly avoidable tension in the middle of something we love so much.
yeah, and I have a couple of jumping off questions from that point because you brought up Dil Dhadakne Do, and that was really my first encounter watching your films. And actually, from there, I went and watched Bulbul, and I have seen the types of characters that you've picked over the years. Is there specific, like you're saying, this metric that you use to pick your characters, not only with the director and the co-actors that you're with, but one specific scene that you ever read when you're given a character read from a director of, okay, this is why I want to pick this role, this is why I want to be this character?
Sorry, what does the character read mean?
Meaning, like, when they tell you the brief of the character per se, right? If they're explaining the description of the character to you, is there ever a specific one personality trait or one specific thing that sticks out about that character to you that makes you want to take this character on?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Okay, do you have an example?
Yeah, Berlin.
Okay.
Somebody wants to win. He only ever, the world can burn. He has to win.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, um, mm, I'm trying to find um, Split Wide Open. Um, the film I did is it's survival, and that
Okay.
the boy is always so scared of the cops catching him. He never sits still. He's the motor of the film. He's always moving. Survival. That if I stop, somebody will catch me. So yeah, definitely.
So speaking about Berlin, how did you prep for your character? How did you kind of get into the skin of the role?
I just beat up 3 or 4 people every day.
Wait, really?
Mm. Um, sorry, this phone's ringing. I Look, it's a piece of fiction, so I didn't do any research in terms of going to intelligence agencies and all of that stuff.
Okay.
Um, there's an interiority in the character that fascinated me much more than any external prep. Um,
Okay.
because it was fiction, because it's not supposed to be based on, I mean, at no point did the director say, I want you to imitate the people who work at X
Mm-hmm.
organization in India. Never. It was clear it was a piece of fiction. Uh, But the interiority was what interested me because he didn't give me a backstory. Ishfaq's character has a backstory in the film. Backstories give context and build empathy with the audience. Whether you like the person or not, there's an empathy that you build. And similarly with Apar Shakti's character. But in my character, there's no backstory. So I carried the backstory on my back, like for myself. So I did a lot of the work. I have a biography of every single character I've played in cinema, written down from the time they were born to the time that the film starts. And I did the same thing with Sondi. Single child, deeply unloved, all of that stuff, devoid of any compassion, wasn't treated very well, therefore he treats people badly, all that stuff. So it was that prep that really informed for me how to deal misogynist, deeply insecure, uncomfortable around women. So even that little scene where I have with Anupriya, how he treats her, it's all of that he's a horrible person.
Like you're saying, that he has deep flaws within his own character, right? Is it difficult for you to portray characters as such that are inherently, there's really no one good quality about them? There's no redeeming quality about him even throughout the film. Is it difficult for you?
Difficult as a human being, not difficult as an actor.
Okay.
As an actor, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But to lie on a bed for 8 hours with Tripti, when I rape her to death in Bulbul, how can that be fun for a human being to do? But it is fun for an actor to do. Okay. Because it's just amazing. And I told him, I said, listen, your safe word is Rahul. Because, we were just on that bed for 8 hours because nobody want to go back to the dressing room and come back and take your clothes off and do that again, all that stuff. And it was just so harrowing. But I said, because when the camera rolls, I'm going to be this animal rooting into you mercilessly, without any empathy, without any humanity. So, you just got to get there. Harrowing. Not fun on one level.
What are you hoping that audiences take away from Berlin? Because speaking from, a personal point of view, there's a multitude of Cold War stories put out there, specifically done by, Hollywood. And this being on a global streaming platform, what are you hoping audiences are able to take away from the film?
Tight, taut, psychological thriller. Didn't waste my time. Well acted, well designed, well directed. Yeah, it's international. It's cool. It matches up. It can stand shoulder to shoulder with anything else you're watching on any other OTT platform. Hopefully. Yeah.
I mean, I would agree. It was incredibly interesting. I love watching, these thriller type films, specifically about history. And for me personally, it was very interesting to watch and kind of see everything play out. So I appreciate your time to speak with me today and learning more about your character and your prep behind it. So thank you so much. And I'm excited for people to watch the film.